ain't working. The countdown not participating.
See it on my end.
You see it?
I see it on my end, yeah, when y'all do it.
Okay, let me.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. It is me, just Josie.
And Tawanda with the T.
And we are Melanated in Business, where we highlight, spotlight all things Black and brown for the increase of our community. Today, we have the amazing Angelene Ronique.
What's up?
Welcome. We are so happy to have you here.
Thank you guys for having me and inviting me on your platform. I really do appreciate it.
You having a good day? Good Thursday?
Amazing. Okay, with a capital A.
That works. That's always good to hear. So, T, what's the T?
So the T for today is, please, although y'all are getting vaccinated, please know that you still gotta social distance, please, because although you're vaccinated, you can still they're thinking you can still transmit to other people. It's gonna lessen your symptoms, but if they didn't get vaccinated, they're gonna get COVID. So just keep it social distancing, keep your hands washed, wear your mask, same thing that we've been doing. Don't think just because you vaccinated, you good. Also, I want to say a prayer. I'm not saying a prayer, but everybody say a prayer. Give it a moment of silence for the people in Texas. They are going through it right now. First, it started out with that 133 car crash.
I've seen that
pile up, and then it's like everything snowballed from there.
Literally,
power outages. Now they have to boil water, and like literally for real. Just pray for them, because I know some people who's having to go in and out their cars to warm up, and if they're going to hotels are booked. They can't really do anything. Jesus. And of course, their senator is powwowing on vacation while they're suffering. So just a prayer for everybody in Texas, and hopefully everybody will make it through okay.
And do what you can. If you know, make sure you check on your loved ones, check on your family who's there. Yeah. It's kind of unexpected. I know a lot of people are like, well, why don't they clean it up? And why don't they this? But that's not normal weather. You know what I mean? For Texas. So when you're not used to something happening and that being your environment, then typically you're not prepared. You know what I mean? So just be patient. And like she said, send your prayers up, check on your loved ones, your friends, your family, all that good stuff.
I think they got our ice.
Well, they said we're supposed to get some bad weather coming. I don't know what's coming, but at this point, I keep telling y'all it's 2021. I'm waiting on Decepticons to come down from the sky. You know what I'm saying? It's just the glue. We done went from the glue to the snow in Texas.
Right.
It is what it is at this point. I just stay ready. Drink my water and mind my business.
That's all you can do.
So, Angelene Ronique, you want to say it like together? Is it like a hyphenated name, or is it just like?
It's actually my name, so it's just my first and middle name. It's just Angelene Ronique.
Well, what's your mama call you?
She called me Angelene.
Okay, well, I just didn't know if I gotta say Angelene or Angelene Ronique.
No, we gonna do all that.
Y'all they get all rich, go to Cali. You know what I'm saying? They start changing their name up. You gotta call her something different. I just need to know I'm in accordance.
Listen. I am not in the clouds. I am down to earth.
Okay, that works.
Call me Angelene.
So I kind of like the way you float. I'm gonna roll with it. But every now and then I might throw a little Angelene in there.
Do what you feel.
Kind of bring you back down, let you know.
Do what you feel.
Who is Angelene Ronique?
You know what? I would like to be like, I'm this, I do that, I do this. Angelene Ronique is just a cool chick who loves to make dope pieces. I love art, I love fashion, I love creativity, and I just like to create. And that's really who I am at the end of the day. Take away titles, take away what you do. I'm just a chick who likes to create. That's it. Real simple.
Real simple. So I see in the back a design. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming that you sew, right?
I do. So, I do sew. I did go to fashion design school, but I was sewing before then. But fashion design school really helped me to learn how to do pattern making, tailoring, draping, all that stuff. So, yes, ma'am, I do sew as well.
So how old were you when you first started sewing?
My first garment that I sewed was in 2007. So that was what? That was 14 years ago.
I stopped doing math after 6:30.
I realized, like, wow, that was a while ago.
I don't do no math after 6:30. My phone being used, I can't pull up my calculator. I don't know.
I saw my first garment 14 years ago. That was when I first touched the sewing machine.
Excuse me. So you didn't you don't have one of them I started at 6 when my grandma bought me a sewing machine.
You know what? This is my story. So at 6, I was using color pencils. So I've been drawing since I was like 5 years old. And my dad would get color pencils. I would draw, stuff like that. That's when I really saw the artistic side of me. But in 2007, I actually had a dream of me on a sewing machine. I had never touched a sewing machine. I was kind of introduced to fashion, if you will. And I remember sitting on the couch and I saw my first garment. It almost was a vision. And I was like, what is that? So I just drew it, left it alone, started getting designs over and over and over and over again. And then one day I went to sleep and had a dream I was sewing on a sewing machine. And I woke up and said, I know how to sew. And I'm like, how do I know how to sew? And I remember I saw my brother Damon. So if he's watching, I love you and thank you. But my brother Damon ended up coming over to my mom and dad's house. And he was like, I think I'm supposed to give you some money for something. And he gave me my first, the money to get my first sewing machine. I still have that sewing machine.
Oh, that's dope.
He's like, I'm supposed to give you some money for something. Okay. And I took that money. I said, I'm supposed to get me a sewing machine. He was like, how much is it? So that was the beginning of me starting sewing. And I was like, wow. After that, I fell in love. I fell in love.
So you has fashion design, even though you were doing color pencils and drawing sketches and doing mock-ups at 6, right? 6, 7, 8, 9, we'll go, as a child. Did you always want to be a fashion designer, or did life kind of just lead you that path as things just started falling in your lap?
The latter. So initially, actually, as much as I could draw, I was going to school for architectural engineering initially, because I knew how to draw and I was good at math, and I didn't really know what to do with it. Being from Louisville, Kentucky, you don't really see fashion designers, so it's not like it's in the forefront and you I aspire to be that, because it's not in your environment. So I really didn't know what to do with it. So I initially went to school for architectural design, architectural engineering, and I just wasn't happy. I mean, the mathematician in me was happy, but the artist in me was dying. And I was like, this is not what I love. And I quit school, and I was like, this is not for me. I'm not going to do a degree that I don't love. I'm not going to invest in something that I don't care about. And then later on in life, I was introduced to fashion, and it grabbed me. And I said, this is what I love. This is it. That's my blueprint.
You went to fashion design school in Kentucky or in LA?
So I relocated from Louisville, Kentucky to Los Angeles to go to school for fashion design. So I packed up and moved and said, I'm done. And I was like, I want to go pursue my dream in fashion. And I wanted to know everything there was to know about it. So I was like, let me go to school. It was either LA or New York, and LA won. LA won. I just felt more settled here. It just felt more like home here. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start in LA. And I came to LA and started my fashion degree here.
I was gonna ask you that because New York City is, the home of high-end fashion design. How did you get to LA? Like, what was that decision making like?
So initially, I was gonna go to New York. I was thinking about going to Parsons, and I was like, I'm gonna go to Parsons. I'm gonna go to New York. And I would never forget my best friend. She had said, you know what, girl, my uncle lives out there. Let's go take a trip. I said, let's do it. Now, mind you, LA wasn't in my radar. We was just coming out here to visit, like just to have a trip, do a little trip. Girl, I came to LA. I said, New York who? New York is in the distance. I am moving to Los Angeles.
You Beverly Hillbilly that thing. I'm like blowing up the truck and I'm moving to Beverly Hills. You ain't look back.
Because I remember my best friend, I said, LA don't got nothing for me. She was like, you've never been. Like, what do you mean? You've never even seen it. I said, I don't need to see it. I was so arrogant, so cocky. I said, I don't need to see it. New York is for me. LA is beneath me. And I came to LA and girl, I fell in love with it. And I packed up and moved in 4 months after that trip. Packed up and moved.
Do you think there would have been a difference if you would have went to New York instead of LA?
Absolutely, there would have been a difference. I think there would have been a difference in, my development. There would have been a difference in the people that I meet, just the environment, the network. For instance, LA is more actresses, music artists. It's the music scene. So those are the people that I actually work with, which makes more sense for me. Now, at the time of me moving here, I didn't know who I was going to be working with. But I'm glad that I moved here because New York is more... they deal with theater and stuff like that. Yes, there's high end, but New York is a whole completely different vibe, and they don't have the music artists there. The media's not there. Costume design like it is here on television and stuff like that. So it would have been a whole different ball game for me.
So what was that like? Being in a new city, no friends, no family, you're kind of young. How was that experience? What kept you grounded? What kept you focused? Because it's easy to, get caught up in LA life.
It is. What kept me focused was my goal, and what kept me focused was my nieces and nephews. I was like, I gotta get this done. Like, I can't quit. You know what I mean? I wanted to be an inspiration to not just my family, but other people eventually. So that's just something that I couldn't give up on. LA is not an easy place. But, if you can stay focused and have that dream before you can stay on the path.
What are your goals as a fashion designer?
My goal as a fashion designer is really to express myself. It's not even a thing where I want to be the most famous designer out there, or I want everybody to know my name. I really just want to express myself and use fashion as a platform to speak about real issues, to speak about social things that are going on in our culture, just to use it to speak as a platform and to really allow people of color to know that they can design as well.
So everyone knows that fashion is a white male dominated industry, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Although the majority of people who attend fashion design school are women. What was it like as a melanated woman entering into this male dominated industry? Like, how did you get in? What was your entrance? What was your like, I'm here, y'all gonna take me, deal with it?
So the school that I went to, actually a lot of times I was really the only girl of color in the class. I mean, the majority of the time it was either me and another girl, to where, listen to this, one of my peers said, not you, the other black girl.
Oh,
and this is in the whole school. So the fact that it's the other black girl lets you know how many were in class with me. I mean, it's just what it is. But you know, growing up in a family where there was a lot of siblings, and growing up with my mom and my dad, they really built us with a lot of confidence. So I didn't feel like out of place, and you know what I'm saying? Like I could make it in an environment. Like I don't need everybody to be the same culture as me to make it. You know, I could connect with anyone, and I actually enjoyed the diversity. But a lot of times, and I tell people this, I was in school for 4.5 years, and I didn't learn about not one Black designer. Not one. Do you understand me? The Black designers that I found out about was because I researched them. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, this has to change because there's so many of us who are talented, and nobody even knows that we exist. So, you know, a lot of times I had to be vocal in class. Sometimes I would go toe-to-toe with my teachers, my professors, especially when they use the word minority. That irritates me more than anything. I'm not a minority. I can't stand that language. So, you know, those times you have to kind of speak your mind and be confident about your opinion.
So anything you got? You great? I don't want to cut you off, T.
I was going to ask about your siblings. How many siblings do you have?
It is 9 of us. So it is 5 girls and 4 boys.
It's a lot of children.
Listen, it was
How did any of them go into fashion or art or anything?
No, so I'm the only one that went into fashion design, but everybody in my family has some kind of artistic ability. My sister has an artistic ability. My brother, he sings. My sister, she sings. Like we still have that artistic vibe about us. I'm just the only one that chose the route of fashion.
That's you know what though? Having a lot of siblings or growing up in a big family, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that teaches you things that only child, 1 or 2 child kind of dynamic you don't have. You know what I mean?
That's
so
true.
I grew up, it was like cousins and grandma and auntie, and we all in the same house. And you know, back then it was one TV. We all sitting in front of the TV watching Knight Rider. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It teaches you how to adjust and interact with so many different personalities and different energies. You know what I mean?
True. That is so true, Josie, because it does teach you how to be very social very quickly. It teaches you how to speak up and find your voice very quickly, or you're going to get lost in the sauce. Like, you better find out who you are, or you're going to get blended in with your siblings. So you have to not only find who you are, but you also have to learn how to connect and deal with different energies, like you were saying. I completely agree. And that really prepped me for LA. It really did.
So we have a question from Renee. I'm not even going to butcher your last name.
Hey, Renee.
But Renee says, what famous person or people have you designed for? And who would be your ideal person that you'd like to design for?
Okay. So famous people that I've designed for, I haven't designed for any famous people. I've done tailoring for famous people, but I haven't actually designed for famous people yet. But my ideal person that I would like to design for is somebody who is just free. Like, I want you to be the type of person that could wear a garbage bag and kill it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the type of person I want to work with, because I don't have any restrictions. Like, I have freedom, any liberties. That is the person, that's my ideal person that I want to work with, to be honest with you.
And I'm sure that allows you creative design.
It does, because when you work with people that I don't want to wear this, I don't want to look like that, I don't want to hear that. Look, do you want to look good or not? And let me be creative. And I need the space and the freedom to make you look good. Now, come on.
If you always wear black, you don't know you look good in red.
Exactly.
Don't tell me all you want is black. You're going to get this red. You're going to wear it. You're going to like it.
Look, trust me, okay?
Trust me. I'm a professional.
Right, just trust me.
This is what I do. So your brand, Angelene Ronique Los Angeles, you actually do image consulting as well, right?
I do.
Could you explain to our listeners or our viewers what an image consultant actually does?
Okay, so I'm basically consulting you on what you should look like at the end of the day. That just sums it up. A lot of people, I try to give you your visual fingerprint. And what I mean by that is a lot of people look like a lot of copies. They don't have any personality to their style. But what my job is to find out who you are, to help you discover who you are. And then once we do that, then we can dress that person. Because what people don't understand is fashion is a language, and it's spoken before you even open your mouth. That is the first thing that speaks for you, and you have about 15 seconds to get somebody's attention. So, if you want to blend in, that's fine. But if you want to make a mark in this world, you're going to have to look like something. You're going to have to portray yourself as something. A lot of people, that's shallow, and you vain. You're right. This is a visual world. Like, you have to be vain in some sense of the word. Like, that is delusional for you to think that what you look like doesn't matter. It does. You have to put effort in the way you look, because if you don't love yourself, who's going to love you? So, my job is to sit down with those people and say, hey, let's do this look. Let's do this look. This goes with your body type. This goes with your skin tone. This really brings out your hair color, your eye color. This really works for your personality. This blue will give an energy that will be a magnetic drawing to any of your clients. Like, that stuff is real. So my job is to help them to find that. Well, one of the things.
We have another question. Jason. Hey, Jason.
What's up, Jay?
Says, as a designer, do you think it was a better approach for a Kanye West to team up with a popular brand like Adidas, or to really develop a brand new brand from scratch?
I think it depends. And the reason why I say it depends is because it depends on your target market. Because sometimes if, say, Kanye West's fans were all about Adidas, like if he did market research and he found out that the majority of his audience liked Adidas, then it would be a smart decision for him to really maximize on that. However, if you are dealing with and your fans and they don't even like Adidas, like, why are you even connected with them? They're not even going to buy your product. And Kanye West, I think he had a following that could carry a brand, but at the end of the day, your audience is your audience, and you can't make anybody added to that. So I really think
your people who there's some people who will do whatever you do.
Yeah. And
then there's some who are like, no matter what you do, unless what you're doing pairs with what we already like.
Exactly. So you got to know your audience.
The partner, and an example I'll use is the partnership with Rick Ross and what is it, Reebok? I think he was paired with Reebok.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that made Reebok stock go up.
Because nobody cares. Like, they have to care about the brand. If you want to revive it, like Beyonce is doing amazing with Adidas. I mean, but again, she's Beyonce. But for me, there are certain pieces people still won't wear, even though it's Beyonce. So right. You gotta really know who your audience is and what they really like, if you really want to maximize on them.
I'm about to get deep into your business.
Well, let's go.
This Textile Tuesdays. Okay, y'all. If you ain't seen the Textile Tuesday video, first of all, I don't know where she gets her hats from, but she got a staple. I'm surprised she got one on today. She has a staple of hats that it don't matter what she's talking about, you're gonna be like,
well, you know what? That's a good thing. See, it worked.
But your Textile Tuesdays is I want to say a social media based program that you have.
Yes, my little show I got going on.
So tell the viewers about the show, what you go into, how you came up with the vision, and where you want to take that.
Okay, so Textile Tuesdays, I really deal with fashion. We deal with trends. We deal with prints, hues, colors, whatever. Breaking down prints, wovens, textiles, knits, whatever you can think of. I really like to break it down because a lot of people really don't know about fabrics. They don't know about textiles. I mean, they all think cotton or silk or stuff like that, but they really don't understand the textiles that they're buying. And I wanted my audience to really understand when you're going to make a purchase, you need to know what you're wearing. And so Textile Tuesdays, one day I said, you know what? I'm going to start a Textile Tuesdays. And I really want to inform people about textiles and fabrics, and just to give them that knowledge, just to give them that buying power when they go to the mall, when they make those purchases, that they have a little more knowledge than just cotton and silk.
So when it comes to hues and patterns and fabrics, is there like a scale? You know, it's like if this is your complexion, you should pair it more with these. And if this is your complexion, pair with these. If you're this height, you look better in horizontal versus vertical. Is that like something that exists in the fashion industry?
Well, I mean, that's just visual. That's really just visual 101. Like sometimes you'll find a person who's a great nude and they literally can wear any color that you can think of. They can pop a red, a pink, a fuchsia, a purple, a green, an emerald. They can pop anything. But then you'll meet people who have the undertones that are not as bright. And if they get in like a rose pink or like a mauve, it may wash them out. So you have to be careful on some of the like color choices that you choose to make sure you're always popping and always, you know, accentuating your color tones.
Got any questions on the board, Tawanda?
No questions on the board, but I have a question.
Okay,
what is your favorite material to work with?
What is my favorite? Silk satin. I actually have two. Silk satin and silk charmeuse. Those are my favorite fabrics to work with. It's just a beauty that they carry. When you press them, I know I'm sounding weird, but when you press them, that steam and the way they just sit, oh man, it's like golden butter.
You need a room? You need us to get you a room? You all right?
No, if you ain't doing that for what you love, you ain't ready.
Right. Let me tell you something. If I don't take nothing else away from this show, I know how you feel about silk and silk charmeuse, baby. I'm talking about you got it. Oh,
it's like butter. And if you don't feel that way about what you do in life, you need to get out. You need to get out because you're not going to produce the love and the care and the discipline that it requires to really be your best and really be excellent. So I think numero uno, you need to have a passion for what you do because if not, it's going to show in your work.
It is. And when you have that passion, that shows, that love, that shows as well. When, you know what I mean? They both go hand in hand. You can tell when someone truly enjoys what they do.
Yep.
You know, they go over, you know, above and beyond, you know what I mean, to please you and making sure that you're happy and satisfied with what you have. So I'm glad that you found your passion, and I can tell that you truly enjoy, you know, all aspects of everything fashion, not because it's your passion, but because you've taken the time to invest in learning more about what somebody just didn't tell you. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And when I love something, I have to admit, I want to study that thing. Like, even if I'm invested in a relationship and I like that guy, I'm like, I want to know everything about him. Like, what kind of shoes, what's his style? I need to research you because I want to know you. You know what I mean? So when I fell in love with fashion, I really wanted to know everything there was about fashion, and it really does push you further when you have that love for it. It just makes you want to know everything about it. Seriously.
So we have a question on the board. It says, how do we tune into Textile Tuesdays?
Okay, so Textile Tuesdays will be coming back this season, later on this year. But if you want to go to previous episodes, you can check it out on my AngeleneRonique.com. You can check it out on Angelene Ronique Media on my YouTube page. And I've also posted a couple of them on my Facebook. So if you want to look at previous season, the previous episodes, you can check them there. And then the new season will be coming out this year. So it's gonna be good, baby.
Y'all got it. Look, y'all got Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we don't care what y'all do on Monday and Wednesday and Friday.
That's right.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, y'all got somewhere to be. So be there.
You got somewhere to be.
Got somewhere to be. So you're you know what, we always ask, you know, this question, and it seems very simple. It's like people think it's common sense. But for someone who is newly into or wanting to get into fashion industry, what is something that you would tell them that they need to know or that would help them that you don't learn in school?
That you don't learn in school. What you don't learn in school, I think, is finding your voice. I think that's the most important thing. I will never forget when I heard Roland Martin, and he was talking about a guy. He's actually an image consultant, but he, does relationships and stuff like that. Kevin Samuels, his name. But he was talking about the power of cutting through. And you have all these designers out here. You have all these, people who are creating and doing designs and doing art. But what is your voice? What is your fingerprint? What makes you unique to the industry? And I think you need to find that, because if you don't have that, you're going to get lost in the sauce and you're going to be like everybody else. And you won't be able to really cut through the industry like you need to if you don't find your voice.
Was that hard for you? Was that a difficult thing to do, getting into the fashion industry? With most, if you have a product, right, you present your product. You present your product, and then you do your pitch, and then that's how you either acquire the business or you don't. But like, you can't walk around with a custom-made dress and just
exactly.
You know what I mean? So how did you get that? What was your first, gig, job?
Actually, it was a referral. Well, I'll start like this. When I was in school, I actually worked for a fashion designer. So I was able to really learn the ins and outs about design, products, marketing, stuff like that. I was doing shows with them. We were doing shoots. So, I really learned a lot about the industry with working for a designer. But in my mind, I said, I'm not about to keep giving you all my creativity. Like, I need to start my own brand. And a lot of people, the fashion industry is so competitive. Everything's competitive, number one. And number two, you want to be in something that's competitive. Why? Because it keeps you on your toes. It keeps you at your best. Because if you are around people who are giving their all, guess what? Guess who's not slacking? You're not. You know what I mean? So, that competitiveness in the industry is great. But, a lot of times, it is who you know. It really is. It's about your connections, your environment, who you meet. Those are the ways that you really get into the industry. Like, a lot of times I ended up on set because I ended up meeting somebody out, and they like, oh, well, come on set. I got, Yo Gotti, come through. Like, it really was about connecting with people and really building relationships. And that sometimes is what gets you the door in, because you can't break the door down. The door is through people. True. And if you don't know that, then you're not going to make it.
So are there places that you can go to meet the right people?
There are places that you can go. Like, there's networking parties, of course. There's events, there's shows, you have concerts and stuff like that. But I think at the end of the day, it really is about a divine connection. Sometimes it really is about, that alignment, and you just meet that person and you're like, whoa, who are you? And then boom, you go here. So sometimes it is you putting that effort forth, and then sometimes it is God bringing those people into your life to really be a door for you to get through there.
So when you're creating or when you're making pieces, or just in general, as a fashion designer, do you guys keep fabric in your studio, or is it kind of one of those things that you acquire fabric as it's needed?
Well, it depends. Like, are you talking about bulk buying and then having
yeah. So do you keep, product in-house, or do you only get product as someone requires a piece being made?
Well, see, I'm a custom designer, so mine comes through that way. So I don't have a lot of inventory sitting around waiting to be sold. That's not how it works for me. It's when they come to me, hey, I want this piece, let's get it done. And then I go get the fabric and we make it happen. But no, I don't have a lot of inventory sitting around. But if you are a designer, you should have fabric and needles and thread and everything, laying around, because you don't know what you could do with it. You may use it later. I have fabric everywhere that I haven't used. I mean, velvet, silk, chiffon, it's just sitting there. But I'm like, you know what? It's going to come in handy one day.
Right. So with COVID, how has that affected you being able to get merchandise from your vendors?
Oh, so we're open as far as that. When it first happened, we were shut down. So you couldn't get needles, fabric. You couldn't get anything. And that was a scary place. But then they opened back up the fashion district, which is where I get all my fabrics and stuff like that. They opened that back up, and they've been open. First they were doing like curbside where you couldn't walk in, but now you can go in and get your fabric again. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That it didn't have that major, of an impact. Because I can imagine someone wanting a custom piece, and then now you can't get, the fabric from the vendor. So
yeah, see, and nobody was wanting custom anything. Everybody was shut down. So it worked. But, that was scary at first when everything was shut down. But now that it's open, the fashion district is completely open again. It's a better vibe.
So do you have like one or two vendors that you work with, or do you have several?
Oh, it's the fashion district, period. If you ever get a chance to come to LA, the fashion district is just blocks and blocks of fabric. So sometimes you just gotta go down there. You may have a vendor that you like really work with, who you love, and you know that they're gonna have what you need. But then you have those other shops where you may need those specialty fabrics, or say you may need some Swarovski crystals or something like that, and you may need to go in that store. So it's just all about what you need at the moment. So, I have my boo things, but I also, have a little couple of people that I like to, trip with.
Your little sneaky links. You got a couple sneaky links. Okay, I see you.
Sneaky links.
So the piece, earlier you talked about how using your voice for fashion and to make an impact on society, and just bringing awareness to all things Black and brown, right?
Right.
You have this piece that's behind you.
Yes.
Let's get into that, which I'm guessing is called the color theory piece. Or what did you name her?
Well, that is the name. It is the color theory. That's the piece that it was. And I just felt like I had to say something, as an African American one, but it really hit home for me. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. We need to really bring awareness to what is going on, and bring that social awareness to a lot of the things that we deal with. Because sometimes people really don't know what you're going through until you express it or articulate it. And I wanted to use fashion. I wanted to use my platform to really use my voice and speak about the issues that we have in our country, especially when it comes to racism. The George Floyd incident was what motivated it. But of course, we've been dealing with this for a long time. But the George Floyd incident really ignited me to open up my mouth and make a statement.
So tell people what that piece is, how you created it. I wish we could show the video, but we're gonna send you to the link. You guys go check out the video. It is phenomenal. Like, it is such the display of creativity in that piece. Like, not just watching you create the piece, but then to hear your poetry over the piece. It was like, this is too much. I'm not crying. You're crying. I'm not crying. It was beautiful. So enlighten the people on exactly what it is, what you did, everything.
Okay. So, I've always heard songs. I've always been a writer. I've always felt music. But I really didn't know what to do with it, because I didn't want to be a Beyonce. I didn't want to be a Rihanna. But I always had this gift of music in me. And I decided to merge the two. I work with an amazing company called Definitive Measure. Natalie J. Gray is the owner of that company. And I remember when I went to her about getting the song created, she was telling me, she said, you have to figure out how you're going to come out. Like, you can't just come out as an artist. Like, you have to come out through your lane. And I was like, how? She said, you have to figure out how to do that. And I'm like, how am I going to do that? And I got the idea to merge my music and fashion together. And so I wanted to do a spoken word that really talked about the issues of racism and slavery and, the injustices in our community. And then I wanted to couple that with a fashion piece. So I did what you see behind me, and the dress was inspired by Jackson Pollock. And he was an expressionist. So I wanted to take the paint and like just throw all the anger, the fury, the, just everything, the hurt onto the dress after I finished it. And I wanted to take the red, white, and blue to symbolize the flag of what is happening in America. And then the purple represented the bruises. The reason why it's a hooded dress is because the silhouette was supposed to, why am I having a brain fart? Excuse me. But the dress was supposed to signify death. So I wanted to use the Grim Reaper. So that's why you see the hooded dress on it, because it was about death. And then on the back, I used zippers to like use as slashes. So the zippers, you can see the back of the dress is open, to really see the slashes that our ancestors went through. So I really wanted to show a dress that was a statement piece more than something that you just think is cute, but it actually had artistic value as well as a message that could be carried throughout time.
Have you considered placing this statement piece in African American art museums?
Absolutely, I'm going to do all of that. Like, I'm telling you, Josie, mark my word today, I will be in a museum. My work will be in a museum because it's not about me. It's about the message getting out there. And so I have more pieces to come. This is not the only thing that I'm going to do. But I really want people to see our story. And I want them to see it through a different lens. I want them to know that, we heard and we overcame, especially what we go through in America.
Question from Jason. How can fashion lovers hey, don't be trying to take my job, sir. I'm gonna need you to find some relaxation, okay? How can fashion lovers in Atlanta best support your brand, and how do they find you?
Well, you can find me on AngeleneRonique.com. You can reach out to me there if you ever want anything done. I also do virtual things, so we can always get you a virtual consultation. If you ever needed just those consultations, we can always do that. But we can do custom pieces. We can do it all. And I do have product coming soon, so people will be able to go on my site and buy things and get some products. So that's coming in the works. But yeah, you can find me in those places and we can make it happen.
Now, do you do I'm saying you do custom pieces and consultation, whatever. And consultation. Do you do any like do you make I don't want to say uniforms, but uniforms for businesses? Like if I wanted custom shirts made for my company, do you provide that service as well?
Yeah, we can talk about whatever you want. I mean, if you need things customized for you, we can make that happen. It's all about having your visual fingerprint and making your brand known, whether you are an individual or whether you are a business. So whatever you need, we will make that happen.
Question, Tawanda?
No questions. No questions here.
What is your favorite part about design?
My favorite part about design is actually seeing it come to life. That is my absolute favorite thing. It's something about, when you're in the conceptual stage and you see a vision of it, I have to literally pull that out of nowhere, put it on paper, and then execute it. So, from conceptual stage to production stage, I'm really enjoying the process. But my favorite part is being able to touch the garment, to touch the finished product. It just makes it real, but I think that is my favorite part, is being able to touch the idea.
So what's next for Angelene Ronique?
Well, we have a lot of things next, and I don't want to be running my mouth too much on here. I would rather show you better than tell you. So if you stay tuned, you will see the things that I'm going to be releasing, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope it really inspires everybody. So I would rather show it than tell it.
You don't want to give me like a little bit, like if you got 6, you don't want to give me like 2.
let's see. Textile Tuesdays is coming. Let's see. I'll be on another show that'll be airing soon. So that'll be airing very soon. There's another project that I'm working on right now that is similar to Color Theory. So, there's a lot of things that I'm doing, but I want to kind of keep it until we get it out there.
Got it. So do you have a YouTube channel? I know that the Textile Tuesdays is on IG, right? Do you also carry
and my YouTube?
Okay.
Well, it'll be on my YouTube page as well, but Textile Tuesdays this season will be a little different. We're going to delve into some stuff. So it's going to be more than just textiles and fashion. I really want to talk about, the issues and the social complexities of what we go through, and that's woven into our culture. So it'll be more than just prints and fabrics, but we want to talk about real issues this time.
Now, will it also be on location? I know before they were on location. You were like in different locations and stores. Yes. But with COVID, is that still possible?
Well, I'll have to see how that works, because a lot of times some stuff still is open. Like they have a couple of studios that are open. So it may have to be either a stationary place, or we may be able to be in different locations. I'll have to see about that. But things are opening back up. So, hopefully that's not gonna be as stationary as I think it's gonna be.
Cool. Well, worst case scenario, just come to Atlanta because we open. We open. I don't even think we close. Like we just here. Like we like COVID or whatever hookah. What time you going to hookah? Like we don't care.
Now, does that affect you guys in any way? Have you been seeing any cases, or it's just you guys have just been open?
No, we got cases.
They're high. They're high and going up, and nobody cares.
I don't understand that.
They like,
YOLO.
They like YOLO. Hey, we brunching. People is like, we brunching. I am people. I brunch every Sunday. I am the people. I am part of the problem. Drink water and mind your business, okay? I wash my hands.
That's all you can do.
So how can the people find you? Give us your handles, your contact information, your website, what pigeon you use, the fly kite, whatever.
So all of my social media handles are the same. My Twitter, my IG, as well as my Facebook is all Angelene Ronique. And then my YouTube is Angelene Ronique Media. And you can find my website at AngeleneRonique.com. And you can go there and see all the services we provide. And just connect with us. Reach out. Let us know what we can do for you to make you find your visual fingerprint.
I like that. You might need to trademark that.
Listen, here, somebody touch it, they're dead.
You're gonna be on Instagram tomorrow. Somebody gonna be like, I'm leaving my fingerprint. I'm like, oh girl, let me tell you what I seen. I'm gonna tag you and everything.
Girl.
So I thank you. Unless you have any more questions, Tawanda.
That is all. No questions on the board. And wait, I do have one question. Do you have any fashion designers that inspired you?
Yes. Alexander McQueen was number one. I loved his thematic collections, especially the one that was inspired by Atlantis. Oh my God. Like he was a genius to me. Elie Saab is another one. I love the couture pieces, just the work, the intricate details that Elie Saab puts in the collection is just phenomenal. And I also like whoever. And I like him because he's edgy, he comes out with different silhouettes, different proportions. I love that. And he reaches a younger audience. So those are my three that I absolutely are inspired by.
And if you had to describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be?
3 words. Artistic, expressive, and open.
Oh, we got another question.
Yes.
Okay.
They like, don't go. Please don't go, girl.
Don't go.
Come back to me. Renee says, is there a fabric that you don't like to work with?
Oh my God. Yes. So numero uno is polyester. The reason why I don't like working with polyester is because it's plastic. You know, a lot of people don't know that. So when you buy a polyester fabric, you're actually wearing like a bottle, like a water bottle. And the reason why I don't like it is because it doesn't press right. You don't get that crisp seam. It doesn't fold because it's not a natural fiber, it's a synthetic fiber. It just doesn't move like a silk would. It doesn't move like a natural fiber would flow, like a chiffon. And so it just has that real, vibe about it, And so I don't like working with polyester at all. You sweat, it's hot, it doesn't absorb any moisture, it's a hydrophobic fiber, you're gonna sweat. It's bad. It's bad. I don't like it.
I was going to say, who still wear polyester?
What happened?
Who wear polyester?
Who
hey, come make this polyester dress?
Well, see, here's the thing. A lot of people don't know that these high-end brands are using polyesters. If you check a lot of this stuff is not high-end silk. A lot of these companies are using more fine polyesters, which will give that illusion to a silk, but it's not a silk. Like, you need to check your tags a lot of times because it's not what you think it is. It might look like it, but when you check that fiber content, it's going to let you know. But polyester, no. I don't like synthetic fibers.
So when y'all, you're like vegan and y'all trying to go on a diet, you in the store reading nutrition label, you got to read the labels on your clothes.
You have to read the label.
Also,
you have to read the label because you'll ruin your clothing. And the reason why I say that, say you did get a polyester anything and it had polyester in it. Say if it was lined, I'll say that. If it was lined with polyester, and then you have on deodorant or you sweat under there, all that sweat is going to get locked up in that lining. And then you smell like arms, you smell it, you stink because you can't really clean it out because polyester doesn't actually clean well because it doesn't absorb the water. So the laundry detergent can't really get in there. You can go get it dry clean and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's a hydrophobic fiber. So you have to be mindful of even what your garments are lined in because they won't come clean when they get stained or oils or things like that. So you do have to be mindful of the fabrics that you're wearing.
On that note, we're going to leave.
There it is.
And I would like to thank you all for tuning in on this amazing Thursday with our awesome guest.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Angelene Ronique. Her mama call her Angelene, though.
It's just Angelene.
She done moved to Cali and got all sophisticated on y'all.
Listen, you have to get an education. I mean, you have to get sophisticated. You can't be a Bama all your life.
So here's a question.
Forever.
When you go back home, because your accent is not of Louisville. When you go back home, do they call you bougie or anything?
You know what? No, they don't. Because honestly, my twang comes out every now and then. You know what I mean? So, it hasn't left. When I first moved here, my twang was ridiculous to where my teachers was like, ma'am, what are you saying? But no, they don't. And if they do, they jumping around. But nobody's calling me bougie and meaning it.
They don't mean it. They say it. They don't mean it, though. Well, again, thank you. Your energy is great. I appreciate what you do, what you're doing. I can't wait to go to the Arts Museum, African American Art Museum, and see your piece. I am an avid African American Art Museum. If I go visit anywhere, I'm going to find African American Art Museum. So I can't wait to see your piece there or just in any art museum, just
Aww.
showing your work, because that is an awesome piece. But the reason behind it is so inspiring, and it's something that can bring everyone, you know, together to understand the passion behind how we feel as a people. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's hard for us to get them to understand our blues of being Black. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so again, I thank you. I appreciate it. Earlier, you said it's about who you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I was talking to an older gentleman today. He was like 73. And he said, it's not about, he said, it is about who you know. He said, but it's about who knows you and what they know you for.
Exactly. Exactly. That is it. Exactly.
You know, because a lot of people can know you.
That's
sometimes they're like, yeah, I don't want no parts of that.
That's true. That's true.
Know, so
that's better said. That's well said.
You are a person to know and a person worth knowing.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Facts, Renee. We thank you for tuning in to Melanated in Business, where we highlight, spotlight all things Black and brown for the increase and upliftment of our community for our community. If you have someone you would like to recommend, be on the show, discuss their brand, their vision, their process, their journey, please email me at justjosie@melanatedinbusiness.com, and I will definitely review your information and reach out to you. Doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter where you live. We spotlight people from all over the nation, all over the country. Just make sure you ain't on Eastern Standard Time, that you wake up in time to be here on Eastern Standard Time. I gotta say that because, you know, I had a couple people from Africa be like, so you gonna wake up at 4? And I'm like, probably not.
No.
We not. We definitely
No.
not. Thank you all again, and we will see you next Thursday at our new time, 7:30. Tune in, and on that note, we are out.
Goodbye.
Bye.